National Science Day, celebrated on 20th February every year. It is the day on which Dr. C.V. Raman, the physicist, discovered Raman effect, scattering of light. Let's explore. Effects of CO2 on humans and animals and plants. In fact, on Earth as a whole. Let's explore the effects of CO2. It increases pollution and respiratory diseases. Pollution. Main pollutants carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and carbon tetrachloride, which releases carbon emissions in the air mainly by vehicles and chemical factories, which causes air pollution. But carbon dioxide is also very useful for photosynthesis, beverage industry, decking industry, as an extinguisher of different types of fires, making plastics and PVC, etc. Now, in this picture, we can see the process of photosynthesis. The sunlight will be there, and the green plants using sunlight, they will react carbon dioxide with water. The carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and the water which is absorbed by the roots. Then the oxygen in this process will be released in the atmosphere, and in the presence of chlorophyll it happens by the green plants. So these green plants store carbohydrates in the form of sugars, and then that will be able to use for the plants for their growth. Beverages industries. Carbon dioxide plus water produces carbonic acid plus sugar when it is added to it, that is carbohydrates. It releases carbon dioxide with fizz when pressure is decreased. We know that air pollution can cause health problems like heart attacks, strokes, diabetes and high blood pressure that have been identified as the pre-existing medical conditions that raise the chances of death from COVID-19 infection. Breathing more polluted air over many years may itself worsen the effects of COVID-19. Bakery products like bread and cakes are made soft by CO2. Sugar plus yeast plus baking powder releases carbon dioxide. Harmful effects of carbon dioxide emissions: pollution, respiratory diseases, global warming. Now you can see these pictures in which we can stop pollution by making our earth a very clean. The emissions of carbon dioxide should be reduced, so vehicles should be made less, and because of which our earth will be very healthy. More people require more resources, which mean that as the population increases, the earth's resources deplete more rapidly. The result of this depletion is deforestation and loss of biodiversity as humans strip the earth of resources to accommodate rising population numbers. Population growth also results in increased greenhouse gases, mostly from CO2 emissions. For visualization, during that same 20th century that saw fourfold population growth, CO2 emissions increased 12-fold. As greenhouse gases increase, so do climate patterns, ultimately resulting in the long-term pattern called climate change. So you can see that how the earth going to be when the earth will have so much population, there won't be any place for the human beings to live as well as the animals to live. So they will be thrown in the space. Let's start with baking soda, a basic chemical that's just itching to react with an acid. When you combine baking soda with an acid like vinegar or buttermilk, the mixture fizzes. That's a chemical reaction producing bubbles of carbon dioxide gas. These bubbles of carbon dioxide make baked goods light and fluffy. By lifting the batter as it bakes, baking powder works in a similar way because it contains baking soda. The difference is that baking powder also has its own powdered acid. Since baking powder contains both the acid and base necessary for the chemical reaction, why doesn't it fizz in your cabinet? The trick is that the powdered acid is inactive until you add water, then the fizzing begins. Thank you.